Hi all, my name is Azi and I'm the product lead of the Angels App Academy by Startup Wise Guys. Welcome to this LinkedIn session. Today we're going to be discussing some really exciting topics. First, we're going to look at the Angels App Academy, an initiative designed to equip you with the knowledge, skills, and strategies needed to invest in startups, from theory to an actual investment. Next, we're going to take a turn to the startup ecosystem in Spain, and more specifically in Bilbao. We're going to hear from Cristobal Alonso, Global CEO at Startup Bizkaia, and from Óscar Ugarte Gamboa, General Manager at Seed Capital Bizkaia. We're going to examine the current trends and developments in the area and discuss what's driving the growth and startups in this region. And then we're going to finish up with some insights into the do's and don'ts of startup investment, and we'll wrap up with a Q&A session where you're going to have the opportunity to ask any questions you may have using the comment section. So without any further delay, I'm pleased to introduce you first to the Angels App Academy. The Angels App Academy is a program designed to equip you with the knowledge, skills, and strategies needed to invest in startups, from theory to an actual investment. It's delivered by Startup Wise Guys, the most experienced accelerator fund in Europe, with over 35 programs and an international community of founders for over 60 countries. Our numbers do speak for themselves. We have been running startup accelerator programs for 11 years, and we have invested in more than 350 companies, a portfolio with 80% of survival rate, 13 exits, and an exit multiplier of 22. But of course, not only our numbers speak. European VCs recognize Startup Wise Guys among top 3 global accelerators. So we know startups inside out, and we have a strong network of experienced investors across Europe and beyond. Our mission is to increase the volume of early stage investors and pre-seed investments in the ecosystem across Europe. Now, who is this academy for? For those who are already investing or about to start investing in startups for the first time, and of course as well for people who have already started investing. So we offer 2 ways of doing it. We can do it through a subsidized program. So if you are an entity that would like to run this program for your audience, please feel free to reach out to me. But we also do it through a program paid by its participants with an open application that we will announce on our website and on all social media pages. So please, if you're interested, just make sure that you're following us. Then all the formats available in the Angels App Academy are basically the following. We have workshops to learn the theory from experienced investors. We have a full program that combines theory and practical activities during 4 months. And we also have a bespoke program using the videos from the full program and who are available for any interested entities. And of course, for all the participants who complete the program with an actual investment in the end, they will join our exclusive alumni community, where they will have a series of benefits, such as access to Startup Wise Guys deal flow, unique access to workshops and content, exclusive lunches in multiple cities around the world, and invites to on-site events. Now, I'm very excited to announce our first edition of the Angels App Academy, which will be held in Bilbao, sponsored by Seed Capital Bizkaia and Crowdfunding Bizkaia. It's an 11 weeks program of 80 hours duration, divided into 7 steps, and it's delivered in English with international speakers from across Europe and Africa. We're going to start with some workshops to learn the basics of startup investing. Then we're going to follow this by a startup pre-accelerator program, where they're going to learn the main key pillars that startups need to go through, and practice mentorship with those startups who are running the program with us. Then we're going to jump into a market engineering sprint led by Startup Wise Guys CEO Cristobal to work with startups already invested by us on defining the problem, market sizing, and competition analysis. We'll then learn how to provide fast feedback, quick scouting skills with our experts. We'll also have the chance to learn from investors' investment stories, their do's and don'ts. We'll then have a pitch stage session listening to entrepreneurs, pitching and providing our participants a chance to judge. And last but not least, commit to an actual investment. So, Angels Academy Bilbao is for you if you are located in Bizkaia, if you have a genuine interest in investing in startups and innovative projects, if you can commit to do a personal investment of a minimum of 5,000 euros into at least one company of your choice within the natural year, and of course, if you can attend to at least 70% of the sessions so you can make the most of it. Please remember, if you're interested and you actually can fulfill all of these points, then the application deadline is on Friday, 31st of March. And then as a recap, the key reasons to apply to the Angels Academy. So we are startup diamond miners. We've got the inside scoop on what works and what doesn't. We provide hands-on practice. So we take participants from the initial stage of evaluating a startup to actually making an investment. And we offer access to an exclusive international network of top-tier investors, mentors, and industry leaders. So thank you very much for listening. I will happily answer any questions you have at the program during Q&A. But now, with no more delay, I'm again happy to reintroduce Cristobal Alonso, Global CEO at Startup West Guys, and Óscar Ugarte Gamboa, General Manager at Seed Capital Bizkaia. So welcome both. Thank you very much for being here. Let's start with you, Cristobal, if that's fine. We would like to hear what are the current things that Startup West Guys are doing in the Spanish ecosystem, and more specifically in Bilbao.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Vera. Yeah, I think just going back to our thesis of investment, we always say that we look in overlooked markets, and somehow people associate overlooked markets to small markets or to markets far away. But we realize, especially in the post-COVID environment, is that both Italy and Spain, putting them in the same kind of space, are still overlooked by the majority of large VCs and investments. And when we look at some regions within those countries, which size-wise and GDP-wise as big as Estonia or as big as some of the other countries, there is almost no attention internationally. There is obviously always there are outliers, the emerging companies that will emerge from any ecosystem, no matter what, because the founders are amazing. But there is still not a structure. Can we create a way, an environment, a context in which more and more things come out? Because again, the talent is there. We know the education in many of the regions is amazing. The number of great universities in Bizkaia is an example. The wealth is there. It's the second richest province in Spain, and second autonomy in Spain per capita wise. So what is missing, right? So the first thing we came to do in Spain, both in Bizkaia and in Malaga, is launching our accelerator. We want to be a contributor in any ecosystem that we join, but we want to do it from an international perspective, right? So we want to be able to say, first, if you want to go international, business has to be done in English. The perspective has to be done in English, right? So one of the bigger issues of bigger markets is many startups say, oh, first I conquer Spain, and then I go out, right? Yeah. Because Spain is big enough. What happens, especially when you are in the largest SMB enterprise market, that conquering might take you 5 years. By the time you want to go out, there is 6 guys like you over the world that has taken over that market, right? In the smaller markets, you don't have that luxury because you know that if you focus in your market, it's too small. So they are born with this international ambition and mentality. So we want to bring that into the ecosystem. Hey, great that you consider Spain one of your key markets, but almost at the same time, you need to be focusing international. One of the best ways to do that is when you are surrounded by people from other countries, from other markets, other nationalities. The learning that happens there is fundamental. And hopefully by hosting this, the on-site part of the accelerator in the tower, in this case, the VAT Accelerator Tower, right? People see international coaches coming, international startups. That mix is extremely powerful. So be it running already one program focusing on SaaS with a more of a heavy focus on industrial SaaS, although we also took some other B2B SaaS companies. We just finished, in fact, yesterday was the graduation event. So we have 14 startups, 13 different countries, one amazing one from Bizkaia. We hope to have more in the future. And two that have also seen the power of operating from Bizkaia and are going to be moving their headquarters there, which was always one of the things we see, that Bizkaia can be a great place to have at least your European headquarters, both commercially and in some points in cases of development. And it's something that we are also amplifying the message outside. And then this spring, we have another SaaS program starting late April, and a growth cybersecurity, which is another area that we see a lot of potential to grow. And we see potentially Bizkaia able to position as one of the cyber hubs in Europe. So we have the power of having 16 to 18 startups coming to Bizkaia for a period of time, some of them establishing themselves there. And we want to leverage everything that happens around there, relationship with stakeholders, with investors, and in a way, helping putting Bilbao internationally on the map, because I think there are great things happening, but we need to market it more, and we need to also think more the collaboration with different environments.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Cristobal. So up to you, Óscar. Would love to hear what are the current things that Seed Capital Bizkaia is already doing in Bilbao for the ecosystem. What has been happening?
Okay, thank you, Azahara. Just a brief introduction about Seed Capital Bizkaia. We are quite exotic risk capital management company, because this company was created in 1989, so a long time ago. This is also a public and private partnership. The company is led by the local government of Bizkaia, but we have also several relevant players, stakeholders like BBA, Santander, Kutxabank, Sabadell, and other banks, and also some corporates that are very involved in the atmosphere, in the environment of the Bizkaia. So we have a long track record in Seed Capital area, because the fund was created 30 years ago, more than 30 years ago. But we have been creating several tools that all those tools tries to cover the gaps in the entrepreneurship ecosystem. We have a microfinance tool. We have a social impact fund. We have a crowdfunding equity platform. We have a fund that is focusing growth. We have also a very innovative social impact fund. And we are quite active investing in all those areas. So we are covering all the stages that are startups or a company could follow. I have to add that we are also trying to improve in bringing new investors and doing different things. Last year, we created new tools. One is a startup fund that is focusing on attracting talent and attracting companies all over the world, and we are doing this with the help of Cristobal and the team of startup wise guys. We are also working further, and we create a fund of funds just to invest in other funds all over the world and bring some new opportunities of first money to our companies. And we are doing quite actively this, and we expect this year to do 4 operations with 4 funds, and we are going to continue this path. We are improving our tools. Next week, we are going to launch a new product in the area of microfinance. We're going to launch a product that allows us to go further. We will give startups the possibility of having a micro loan of 50,000 euros. And we were working this new product with the European Investment Fund. So it's a real and cool product that will allow to our startups and to the system, to the ecosystem, bring and to maximize the opportunities. And for sure, this product that has a rate of interest very low, and there is no guarantees. So it's very accessible and very cool product, as I mentioned before. And this will give us a lot of opportunities of bringing also private investors to our company, because we are really obsessed in this point. Most of our operations are connected with private investors, funds, banks, business angels, other type of investors, and we try to collaborate a lot. I think that this is also part of the soul of the company, to bring investors and to do operations with them, and we feel really comfortable with this role. We are also very active with the BAT Tower. That is a big project of the government of Bizkaia that Cristobal mentioned before. We work a lot. We're provoking new bands that are coming for the tower, and always with the philosophy of creating a bigger ecosystem with funds and other type of investors. We have a lot of programs that also I think could be really interesting for the audience, and we will keep them in the loop with new news around it. And that's all on my side.
Thank you, Óscar. I've been to Bilbao already a couple of times, and I was so impressed with what you guys have already achieved so far and what you're building over there. So if anyone is interested in having a look at what's happening in Bilbao, you should definitely go. Besides, of course, all this amazing startup ecosystem, it's also a great city with amazing food, so you shouldn't miss it.
That's true.
So I would love to hear from both of you as well. What would you say are your do's and don'ts when it comes to startup investing?
Óscar, you want me to go first? Okay. Yeah. I will try to approach this, I think, most from an angel perspective, because I think, or at least from the first investors coming into a startup, right? Because I think how you invest in pre-seed versus how you invest on seed or Series A is, I think, different.
Absolutely.
So the first thing you need to know is that you're going to lose your money, right? And I kind of try to emphasize this because as an angel investor, the money is yours, right? It has taken you a lot of hard sweat to earn it, right? But a lot of people then invest and expecting, when I'm going to get returns the next year, or what is my dividends or my interest rates, at the end of the day, we always say as a rule that whatever money you invest as an angel investor is money that you don't need. Like money that if you lose it, you're fine with that, right? So it's not your wealth depends on this. So, and this is important because then, although you still have ownership and accountability from that money, you understand that the probability that you make it big with that money is very small. In general, we say that the first 3 to 5 investments, you usually lose all your money because it's part of the learning period. Secondly is don't fall in love with the entrepreneur, right? As an angel investor, you're an entrepreneur. You see an entrepreneur, you see almost yourself 5-10 years before. Oh my God, I'm so excited, right? And I have seen people who got in and put 10 tickets in 3 months because everybody was amazing, every idea, because you're bringing that energy, right? That passion, right? And ignites your fire. But you cannot fall in love with the entrepreneur, right? You have to be careful with that, or even with the product of the entrepreneur. I think you need to spend some time creating an investment thesis for you, like funds do. You need to create a process that works for you. Each process might be different. We will explain some of it. And it's not about a due diligence. It's about what is the process. Hey, I want to meet X person at least 3 times. I want to have at least 2 more opinions from people. I want to wait 3 months before any investment to see a relationship. I have a lawyer. What's your process, right? Yeah. And there might be similarities, etc. And an advice that is not in do's and don'ts also is like, and this is why one of the reasons we launched the program is that, of course, there is a level of privacy. I want to invest. I don't want people to know that I have a lot of money. I don't want people to bother me continuously, etc. But at the end of the day, deal flow matters. So having seen enough opportunities matters.
Yeah.
But you should be doing mostly co-investments. The advantage of doing investments on syndicates, especially initially, is that you diversify on your own. Again, if you have 50K, you can put 2 tickets, or you can put 5 tickets by doing it with 3 or 4 other people. You're already diversifying. Any VC will tell you the minimum number to diversify is 20. There is a reason why most VCs put at least 20 tickets. But is that's the minimum number that statistically is proven that you diversifying enough to have a good chance probability, no matter how stupid or how smart you are, to make money, right? But to make 20 investments as an angel, apart from the time and the dedication you have to put into it, and even if you put just 10K ticket, you're looking at 200K, right? And if you put 10 ticket and it's not syndicates, you're going to be insignificant there, right? So I think this whole syndication bring a bit of group thinking, allowing some people to challenge you, because by having 2 or 3 people together, everybody will start bringing different ideas, and then you also start understanding who do I like to work with, right? And hopefully you can also bring elements from other regions or from other countries by doing this. One of the in this sense, bring a lawyer. It's another do. There is a lot of lawyers who make a lot of money, and actually, I might say many of them are bored. So we've seen a lot of amazing lawyers becoming angel investors. So I don't think you need to even bring a lawyer as a professional one, but hey, bring a lawyer as part of your angel investment team. One that is also putting some money, but at the same time has the capability to be familiarized with these things. And maybe the last one is be simple. So, we cannot go there with a 30 pages contracts. You're asking a 10 years business plan for a startup that has 1 customer, So, demand to yourself, but be simple, be respectful of whoever you have in front of you. But maybe, sorry, I was going to say the last one. Say no. So don't just say, oh, maybe, or keep in touch, or let me think about it, and then you don't reply. So when you feel it's going to be a no, I think it's very important to say no and to explain why you feel that no is there. Much better than, yeah, we love it. Oh my God, yes, that's fantastic. Yes, and then 3 months later, the entrepreneur doesn't hear from you, and they still think that you love it, and you just decide not to do it. So say no, explain your no's. It's part of the journey. And then we can talk about more things, but I want to also leave Óscar because I'm sure he can add other things that we both share as do's and don'ts, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. I want to be hearing much more about this. And I think one of the last comments that you made, Cristobal, is a very good point. Saying no, I think it's really powerful, but saying no with strong feedback is actually not only powerful, but also actually very helpful for the person who's on the other side to understand why at this moment that angel investor is not interested in investing in you, because it might not because the idea is not good, or not because the team is not good, but also because it's not the right moment for that angel investment or other reasons. So I think it's a very, very good point. Thank you, Cristobal. Now, Óscar, up to you.
Yeah, I agree a lot with Cristobal, especially with the last part about talking about the lawyers. I mean, I think it's good that you incorporate a lawyer to the team, but please don't leave the lawyer do alone the negotiations, because the lawyer could be negotiating 2 months easily, and that's not good for investors, and that's not good also for the company. So bring a lawyer, but don't leave the lawyer alone. It's we face a lot of operations that become difficult because lawyers were negotiating small details that were not relevant for the company, and also were not relevant for investors. So I agree also with not falling in love with the company, with the startups. I'm getting older, so that's part of past. And we used to play hard in that sense. We analyze a lot of operations, so we have to keep it calm and take decisions with a lot of data. And we have in city, we have in C Capital Bizkaia, we have two limitations, and maybe they are different if you compare it with other investors, also C Capital investors. We have a limitation in the way we take part of the company, because as we are part of the government, we are public administration, we only invest until 45% of the company. So we have a clear limitation in that sense. We are not going to control the company. And we have also another kind of limitation of scenario, that is that we invest in all the sectors. So we don't invest only in cybersecurity or industrial or digital or clean tech. So we are focused in investing in all areas. So that means that we have to, and we focus a lot in investing with private investors. For us, this point is super relevant. We have a lot of funds around us and business angels and other type of investors that want to also to try to build operations. We are very confident and we believe in those kind of investors because we have a long-term record with some of them. We are happy to bring investors, and also we are happy that investors bring us deal flow. And talking about the deal flow, it's also relevant for us that we have to take care of this because we are not working in a big area. We're working in Bizkaia, and we have to take a deal flow and take care of the deal flow and bring the deal flow. So we have a different approach to the deal flow if you compare it with other investors. We are more aggressive to try to arrive to new opportunities. We have a different commercial strategy if you compare it with other public administration and also with some of other private investors. And we are forced to take care and close and finish these rounds with the companies. And that's the reason we have so wide range of products, because we start with microfinance, microloan. We continue with the crowdfunding platform. We continue with the Start Fund. We do a follow-on with the C Capital Fund. So we are taking care of our deal flow, of our startups, of our companies. And for me, the key point around this is collaboration with private investors. I would say that we are proud of having so good investors, but we need more. That's why we are here.
Awesome.
Yeah, I see. Just to add to the last point of Óscar and kind of in and out of the do's and don'ts, is that if you make any research and assessment of successful ecosystems, and you look at the micro level, so even not at the country level, but at the regional level, or smaller countries, like, I always said, Bizkaia is 1.3 million, Estonia is 1.3 million, right? So if you do comparisons, right? You will never find success without active investors, angel investors in those ecosystems. In Silicon Valley, everybody talks about the VCs, but the reality is that there is tons of angel investors and founders making quick tickets, making joint rounds. And again, when you have a syndicate with 8 people, suddenly you have 8 people supporting you, not just one people supporting you. You have 8 people who probably knows each 2 or 3 customers or 2 or 3 VCs, etc. Right? And we've seen it, and somewhat in Estonia, there's more than 120 active angel investors. There is 8-9 million invested almost quarterly by the angels. And doesn't mean that you have to go into all the deals, but there is continuous syndicates. Each syndicate is led by a different angel. I love this deal, but I love more people to come to this deal. And that creates also trust in other people. Over time, some of those Estonian guys who are more active also know some guys in Finland, some guys in Denmark, and say, hey, I'm leading these guys, why don't you come? And usually what we see, and Spain is even from other regions in Spain, but other countries, if you have a local person or person close to the startup leading the round, a lot of angels will come to it because they feel somebody's going to take care of that relationship.
Yeah.
They don't have time for that relationship. They don't even have time for the personal due diligence on knowing the team. but they can add expertise, they can add money, they can add diversification. So I think this vibrant angel investor and this collaborative angel investor ecosystem is fundamental to get. I've seen, I already been, I don't know, in 6-7 meetings in the last 4 months when I meet Bizkaia. I started to say, hey, let's meet. And suddenly you didn't even know they had 2 angel investors would come to the meeting. I said, wow, okay, I didn't know even these 2 people existed, right? And these 2 people are running extremely nice companies, 30, 40, 50 million euros companies. They're putting some money in their own area of expertise, but nobody knows about these people, right? And I know there is a level of, again, I understand the confidentiality, the privacy, I have enough work. I don't need people to be sending me decks every day. But I think that collaboration angle, at least among the angels, is fundamental to do a 10x. In Bizkaia, every place that we go, we need to do 10x. Like, there is no objective reason why Bizkaia cannot be 10x in the startup ecosystem. And there is 11 unicorns in Estonia, 0 in Bizkaia. So we have a good benchmark and of course, we have amazing corporates in Bizkaia industries that you don't have in Estonia, right? It's not saying that you do it, but that is an amazing anchor to actually produce industrial startups, cybersecurity startups, fintech startups, energy-oriented startups, and a very B2B focus. The talent that is and the people that is working in Bizkaia is a very B2B focus, right? So I think there is a lot to say there. And I would say it's a very professional environment that will be appreciated in many other places in Europe when doing business with. And I think we have noticed when we have been inviting people over in the past months, everybody's like, wow, it's great to do business here, right? I didn't know Bilbao existed. I know the museum existed, but I didn't know the business side of Bilbao existed. And when it's discovered, people say, wow, this is a very professional, very business-oriented environment. And I think that is a key asset to bring to the table to local angels, to coordinate with other angels, and to do more and more deals.
Yeah. You made a very good point. Sorry, you were going to say, Óscar.
Yeah, no, I agree with Cristobal. I say a lot of times that we are very professional doing things, doing businesses, but we are not very good at doing marketing. So we need that kind of role to incorporate to our personality and to our daily work. And yes, I think that we have a nice environment, especially if you talk about energy, clean tech, decarbonization, industrial. We have a lot of expertise. We have top-notch investors. We have people that are really committed in that. And it's only try to align and to work on it. And I think that our BA Tower could help a lot creating new spin-offs and new opportunities for us as public investor and also for new investors.
Yeah.
I see there is a lot of questions, I think, on the chat that are interesting.
Yes, I was waiting for you to finish, but I think we'll start from the beginning. We have a question from Ivan Vukampor about what are the enrollment fees for the Academy. So for this first edition of the Academy, this is subsidized and sponsored by, as I was saying, the guys from Seed Capital Bizkaia and Crowdfunding Bizkaia. So there are no enrollment fees for people who sign up, but they need to fulfill the requirement that I mentioned before, and they also need to be able to commit to that investment within the year. So those will be for this first edition. For other programs, it will depend on what kind of program it is and how many modules it includes. So full program enrollment fees will be different to workshop fees, for example. So as we come up with them and put them online on our website and on our social media pages, we'll provide that information for you. But Ivan, I would say if you're interested, just keep in touch. So I'll make sure that you receive the information as soon as we have it on hand from the next programs to come. Then we also have a question from Maria. So Maria Tinsul has a question, three questions actually. First one is for Óscar. So, Óscar, how open are the local investors to consider international tickets? And she's saying, well, she imagines that it comes only after X number of local investments.
Yeah, I think that local investors are open to invest worldwide, but I think they are not used to this. I mean, they are very comfortable doing investments in our local area, including Spain. I think that maybe it's a problem of analyzing things in English, but that's not a real problem. I think that the more relevant point is around understanding the opportunity of the investment. I think that's the relevant point about local investors, and they are not used to that because in Spain, especially in some areas, digital areas, you have a lot of opportunities. But I think that the key point is matching the investor that is specialized in a specific area with the worldwide opportunity, and they are not used to do that. But I think that this will change in 1, 2, 3 years for sure.
Yeah, if you ask me there, I think you don't invest internationally if you need to know somebody. Meaning, if you did a deal here and suddenly somebody from Serbia came to you and invested and you like that guy, and then he brings us a deal for Serbia, you probably want to work with it. So it's very difficult to invest internationally with an angel investor you have never invested before, right? So I think, there has to be a first, but it might be that you met that person in a conference, that you suddenly became interested in the same field, and you say, hey, I have this deal, can you give me your feedback? Because I know you're an expert there. So you're building that relationship before you make an investment together, right? So I think, and this is part of what we're trying to do with the Corsa de Vida, about not only the people who will be there, but over time to have a community in different places with different expertise. But you need to wrap your elbows, with people before you make investments together. Almost before you play your money, you need to have dinner. Let's put it this way, right?
Yes.
So, like in everything in life, right? So I think that's an important building those relationships, because there has to be a lot of trust when you're investing together, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you make very good points. I missed one question before from Stephen Blom. So his question is, my team have created an e-commerce platform for real estate transactions. I'll leave some time so the team can find it. It's at the very beginning. So we aim to launch in Q3 and we have self-funded to date. How can I get my product out to your investors? Now, if you mean to our investors coming up from the academy, our first edition, as I said, is going to be based in Bizkaia. So the startups will be based in Bizkaia. Now, for future programs, the startups that our investors would be looking at to invest would be, of course, coming out from all the portfolio of startups that we have in Startup West Guys. And then we'll eventually, for some programs as well, do an open call for startups. Now, if you would, I think what I would recommend, and I'm sure Cristobal would agree with me, is for you to stay in touch with Startup West Guys and see if there are any programs out there that are available and can match your criteria.
Yeah.
Sorry,
so no. Just one thing. If it's related to us, it has to be B2B. But if it's B2B or B2B2C, we will be running a prop tech batch actually at the end of the year. So we are launching a prop tech fund with prop tech expertise, and this obviously goes there. The only thing is we are going to be 90% of the investment will be B2B or B2B2C. But for what Steven is saying there, so I think is, put yourself in our radar as soon as possible. If this is something that has legs, something that even if we invest with later, we can start already giving you feedback and putting you in the pipeline, right?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Awesome. Thank you very much. We also have another question from Maria for Cristobal. So she was saying, Cristobal, what are the newbie angels hiccups you see happening too many times?
Trying to control the company. I'm going to add you value. Let's have weekly meetings. No, the CEO doesn't have weekly meetings time for you. The CEO needs to run the company, right? And when he needs a meeting with you, he will let you know, right? So to me, it's misunderstanding reporting with control, right? And also trying to get too much for equity for their money, polluting the cap table. So our rule is that any early stage investor should never have more than 10%, because if you do more than that, you're already putting problems in the cap table for the future. So trying to exercise control, try to take too much equity, and then thinking too small, trying to run. So we believe in sustainable, in business that are not basically just living on funding all the time, but you need to think big and you need to think beyond your local market. And I think sometimes people is limiting too much based on the previous experience. So as a three kind of issues that I see there, I will really talk about too complex of contracts, lawyers, dynamics, right?
Yeah. And then Maria has one more question for all of us. So she's asking, is there a high entry threshold to becoming an angel? And how can we make this experience more pleasant for the wannabe angels? Would you like to start, Óscar, first?
Okay. I think that in our case, as public administration, we're doing things in that area that I have never seen with other entities that I know in Spain. We want to go further and create a kind of community with business angels.
Yeah.
Especially, we are working also in the social impact area, which we have a private and public fund. And we need to create a big community that's really involved in social impact investment. So for me, it's important to create that community where they could share experience and knowledge and also show cases and a lot of things, and maybe having the opportunity to share a coffee and to talk about what's happening in one of their investments, it's relevant for them, and we try to help to create that kind of environment. So I would say that bringing a community with a lot of expertise and freedom, it's a key point for us. And as I said before, we need investors. So because we want to go further. It's not only putting money, it's only creating a culture around investment and to bring new actors. We have a lot of people that want to invest, but they have no idea. So that's why we are planning a lot of courses. This one with the team of wise guys, but we have done third with other kind of entities, and we realize that there is a big community of guys that want to go further and do something different with the money. And we are going to build cool bridges to do that. And the community, for sure, it will be something that will help a lot to our co-investors.
Yeah.
So for me, that's important.
Yeah, I think if that's okay, Cristobal, I'll also add to this. So I think to answer part of that question as well, how do we make this more pleasant experience? I think what we're finding is that we have two kind of audiences who are already applying for Angels Up Academy. Is basically people who have already invested before and people who are already starting to invest or have never invested before. So I think if you have never invested before and you're going to start investing now, by doing it together with other people who are in the same situation that you are, I think it leaves the risk of doing that first investment. And as Cristobal was very well saying, doing it through a syndicate, it makes it less. It makes it sound less risky because you're going with other people who are also doing the same thing that you are doing. So it just gives you that confidence that you are all in this together. And then the other audience, to this audience who's already started investing and have already started building the portfolio, our academy is to help them to make more experienced smart choices. So how we hear a lot about smart money, and of course smart money is always better than just money. And I think what we're trying to do with this academy is to provide the tools for you to ensure that you are doing a better decision with more tools on hand. So I think that's one of the reasons why this experience is going to be more pleasant. And of course, the networking and the cultural effect that Óscar was mentioning is a big part of it as well. So, Cristobal, if you'd like to add as well.
No, I think there is a good question there by a LinkedIn user about, besides the program requirements, time and minimum ticket, what are you looking for, your expectations, right? This question. Of course, those are the time is, it sounds a bit stupid, but hopefully it doesn't sound patronizing. At least is we're going to be working, right, during those. So it's not just you need to be there; is we need to be working in that time together, right?
Yeah.
We're going to challenge, right? We need to come with even if you have already done previous investments before, come with a kind of with a clean mind, because I've done 380 investments and I still can learn a lot from Óscar and a lot from other investors on how they do things. So we're going to challenge the startups. We're going to work with the startups that have really been invested already, so they're really out there, right? So it brings this pragmatic effort. I think also maybe is bringing, as Óscar mentioned, this community desire. Hey, we need to develop a community and to develop it midterm. So this is a step, but I think the judgment point, usually it will come in 5 years, right? 3 to 5 years is the minimum to take to bring some of these initial investments out, to really bring results out. So it needs a bit of a long-term commitment to make this happen. This is not you saw 4 months do it. This is not a diploma. It's not a course.
Yes.
It has academy, but it's not a course. It's basically an entry point to give methodologies and practice to develop an active investment community, and into something that you care about, right?
Yeah.
And to me, that's very, very, very important, right?
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much, Cristobal. We also have another question from the audience about this current program. So from Valdis Sprovis, his question is this program first batch open to international participants, and does the person need to be present in Bilbao? So I'll answer first about the international participants. They need to be based in Bizkaia, so for this very first edition, but the person doesn't need to be present in Bilbao for the time of the course. So we're going to have 3 on-site sessions where people need to be in Bilbao, but the rest of the sessions will be online. So if you are traveling abroad or if you need to be elsewhere and you can connect online, you can still attend the program. For this first batch, for this first edition. And then we also have, I want to make sure that we don't miss the question from Stoyan, because I'm sure you guys can share some of these experiences as well. So what are the top 3 mistakes? And I think Cristobal has already shared a few that inexperienced angels tend to make. So maybe, Óscar, would you like to jump in?
Yes, I'm thinking about what Cristobal mentioned: getting in love with the company, getting in love with the promoters. I think that's it's the first mistakes that it's continually I'm seeing it in other operations. Also, I will say that for us, we also see that not working a plan B for the company. I mean, the focusing in the product, focusing in some markets, expecting some money from investors, but not working in other possible scenarios. I think that it's very profitable to focus in working in other plans also, not focusing in only one direction with one point. It's very common that problems can appears and difficult situations. People disappear. I mean, people get burned and changed. So you have to always make a wider view of the company and the situation, just to realize that you have to work other type of plans in case of something fails. And I will say that the third one, I think it could be also around investors. I think that you have to know which are the players that are working with you in the company, the other shareholders. I mean, if you are looking for smart capital, or if you're looking for investors, you have to know who they are and what they really want, because you have a perception that is not real, or maybe you are thinking that they have more money to do the follow-on in the company, and they are not in this disposition, or maybe they only want to interact with the company in some cases, or maybe they are very active interacting with the company, and they are sending wrong messages to the CEO. So I think that's also relevant to know the other actors that are playing with you in the company.
Yeah, if I might add,
Yes.
I think you need to do this professionally. It doesn't mean you need to do this full time, right? But you need to say how I'm going to do this. This is a job, right? Even if it's a part-time job. So how much time I'm going to dedicate? How I'm going to do it? I'm going to dedicate all my Thursdays afternoons to review things, to be in board meetings, to learn more about this industry that I'm working on, to review other deals. This cannot be, hey, when I have time once a month, I take a look, right? There is full-time angel investors, by the way, and you notice when it happens. It will be good that you actually can do the syndicates with at least one of them, because it will help carry the weight. But to me, it's about do this professionally, right? Use tools, have your CRM, keep things properly organized, your document, learn. So I think this is very important, and it goes around about what type of angel investor you want to be, right? You want to be an involved one. You want to be a market expert. You want to be a connector. You want to be a networker. So also define what's your value added. So the same thing that you're going to add a startup, why should I invest on you? The startup should ask you, well, I should take your money, right?
Yeah.
And you need to have a clear answer about what's your value added this apart. And it's sometimes like, I have money. That's my only value added. Then you need to adapt that to how you want to control, vote, contribute, etc. If you have all the things, then how do you bring those? So again, we ask people for a USP, right? So what's your USP as an angel investor? What is your positioning as an angel investor? So you need to do the same job that you ask startups to do. And that's part of the process that hopefully we can also help doing. But I think that's very important. And that's what I mean by being professional when being an angel investor, right?
Absolutely, I agree. I think that's a very both things that you guys have said are very important. And I think one last thing that I would add is actually get involved in the community as much as you can is also very, very powerful. Attending startup events, not just pitch days, but startup events. Just if you can mingle and have some drinks with those people and just get to know the people from the ecosystem is actually very powerful as well. I think we have potentially one last question from Francisco Mejia. So how much commitment should angel investors look for in founders? So for example, founders should be working full-time in the startups, should have already invested from family, etc. Yeah, this question usually comes up a lot. I see both of you smiling. Who wants to start?
I'll let Óscar go first.
Okay.
Okay. Yesterday we were in a meeting with a company where the promoter was in fact he was not leading the company, and we used to invest in those companies where we see a lot of compromise from that side. And it was funny because top-notch investment fund that we used to invest with those guys usually, the company it's really interesting. It's amazing what they are doing, and we see a lot of opportunities, especially for the Bizkaia government, because they will create something really special in the area of energy. And the other investors, the other fund, they refused to invest in the company because the promoter were not. He was not leading. He was not full engaged with full compromise with entity, with the startup. So I have to say that we used to invest a lot when we used to invest the money when we see a full commitment. But in this case, we'll invest in this company because we see a lot of things. He made up to build a great team. it's a great team of engineers that is difficult to bring talent to this company. So we are going to go for sure to invest in this company with other new investors, not the top-notch fund. So I have to say that, yesterday we changed a little bit with our roadmap around this.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing, Óscar. Would you like to add, Cristobal?
Yeah, I'm way more anal here. To me,
Yeah, I thought you would.
full time or nothing.
Yes.
And it's interesting. I made a post some weeks ago about these mistakes that many, or red flags from early stage founders to investors, right? And one of them was about this commitment. And there was this was one of the bullet points that I got a lot of, let's say, discussion. People say, "Well, but I have a family, and this is not paying, but I still can add value." All these things. The problem that I have with not being full time is that, I go full time when we get investment, is that I'm paying for the party, and so to me, this is why you own equity in a company, is because you actually put a lot of the intense capital, that is work, that is not paid at market rates, and thus you get actually a lot of ownership. So if this goes well, the return that you get is much greater than you ever get with a nice salary, right? What I agree with Óscar is not everybody needs to be full-time, because sometimes you have a chairman that has 25 years of experience, and to be honest, he's useless on a startup, right? Full-time. He's extremely useful once a month doing connections, doing a board meeting, etc., but it's not the time for his expertise, right? So, but the team who is running the day-to-day needs to be full-time. So to be at least 2 or 3 people, and those people can be, doers have, the big guy has 90% and he's not even part-time, because they'll be making decisions in which he's not at the stake, because he's full-time, he has other things up. So I would say the majority of the management needs to be full-time, but not everybody else. There should be a plan for how everybody else joins full-time, because there might be reasons or there might be limitations there. And full-time people should be the ones who, over time, owns the majority of the founder's equity, etc. But if you are still in not launch, you can still work 4, 5, 6 months part-time with doing something else. But at some point, you need to commit to solving this problem. And you cannot solve a problem in reality without working full-time on it, because you will never get the same results, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think the only thing that I would add is part of the question that Francisco was saying is that should they already have investment from family, so the family, friends, and foes, I assume, Triple F. I would only say, and please jump in, Óscar and Cristobal, if you think otherwise as well, but that when founders present a startup idea that has already some funds behind by Triple F, usually it means you've already convinced other people that your idea and your project is powerful, strong. It doesn't mean that it's going to succeed, but you've done already the first step of selling your idea to other people. Of course, it's your closest surrounding people, so usually you get more people, who trust you because they believe in you and they love you. But that first step usually brings, I guess, it brings that confidence that you've done the first step. I don't know if Cristobal and Óscar, you agree with me.
Yes and no. Yes and no. FFS has actually is your only family to your family is not a good thing, right?
No, not always, of course.
And I think there is a sense of you owe them, right? So it shows, I think, a lot of commitment and a lot of guts to take money from your family and friends, because you know very well, hopefully you have told them also, that you're going to lose that money, most likely, statistically. At the same time, it doesn't give me more confidence to invest, either I like it or not. So if they needed the money, well, that's great that they put it forward. But if they don't have them because they didn't need the money to take the first steps in the company, so to me, it's not something that, because you have it, I tick something. But of course, I know you're more committed if you took that money. But hey, to me, it's, again, if you can get to see they say bootstrap, you're a genius. Fantastic, well done, right? Yes. So only take money when you need it, not to tick the box that you already have somebody invested in the company, right?
Yeah, that's a good point as well.
I think that for us, it's super cool if they bring us opportunities with teams with a big expertise, with a big talent. I think that we are looking nowadays that kind of combination. But also, I think it's really good when the startups in pre-seed or in seed, they bring us the opportunity with business angels. I was thinking in one of the companies that we did an exit last year. It was a cybersecurity company, and they came here a lot of years ago. They came with a business angel that he was really good in software and technology. He had a big company that he did a big exit, so he's working in that area. And we put a lot of details and efforts because we believe in the team, but also in the expertise of the business angel. And although they have suffered a lot, they did it, and nowadays the fund is co-investing with others in this company, and we did a big exit last year. So for us, having on board some kind of key relevant people, maybe it could be a business angel or other type of investor, it's super interesting in city area. I think that gives us a lot of wide and comfortable area for us.
Yeah. Okay, thank you both very much, Óscar and Cristobal. We are finishing this Q&A now, so I just want to say thank you both for participating in this, for answering all these questions, and of course, for being part of our very first edition of the Angels App Academy. We're very excited to do it with you, Óscar, and the rest of the team. So thank you very much for the opportunity. And of course, thank you, Cristobal, for being here. And everyone else who's listening to this, if you are interested in joining Angels App Academy in Bilbao, please have a look at our landing page and you will find all the information in there, or just feel free to reach out to me directly through LinkedIn. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a lovely day.
Thank you.